Hebdo. Stephanie?
John Henry, thank you. We're joined now by Father Luke Sweeney, the Vice Rector of New York's College Seminary. Father, good morning to you.
Good morning, Stephanie.
What is the significance of Pope Francis speaking out on this free speech issue?
Sure, he's definitely wading into a very complex ethical issue. While certainly condemning the violence that has happened, he's also a good teacher of the flock, and he's trying to show how two good values, two good rights, also have responsibilities. The right to free speech and free expression, but also the right of religion and people to hold their beliefs.
Charlie Hebdo had also lampooned the Catholic Church. It had directly characterized and lampooned Pope Francis. Where do you think a line should be drawn when it comes to offending religious beliefs?
We live in a civilized society. The Pope is calling us to remember that we live in a global village. And the same thing that's drawing him to the Philippines and to go where that typhoon hit a year ago is the same thing that's drawing him to make these distinctions.
Where do you make the distinction?
The distinction is the respect for the person. Ultimately, it's not just about ideas, but it's about the person behind those ideas. And
should religion sort of be off limits when it comes to satire in a way that politicians or other, parts of the establishment are not?
Absolutely not. But on the other hand, it's the whole idea of religion is at the core of people's beliefs. And some of the things that had been caricatured by this satirical magazine were absolutely insulting beyond belief, not just to the person of the Pope, but also to the Trinity, also to the Blessed Virgin Mary. So definitely they cross bounds. We live in a society where we have to balance certain things. And we know that we can't just eat and drink and say what we want. We have to use it in a proper balance.
Do you think that the Pope's comments on this will serve to unite religious communities more, or serve to separate maybe the religious establishment from those in the secular establishment, for example, in France?
I think in our world we're trying to enter into dialogue with people who might be very different from us all over the world today. And one of the things that the Vatican does have, and Pope Francis does have, is an excellent track record of interfaith dialogue, of ecumenical dialogue, and of engaging people. Not being afraid to make differences, not being afraid to state hard truths where things might be off track, but at the same time doing it in a respectful way. The person is something that has a certain dignity, and sometimes we can cross bounds in a civilized society. Not in a good way.
This Pope seems to be incredibly popular. I believe the last time I saw his approval rating, it was something like 80%. Does that put him in a special position when it comes to issues like this, to not just speak to the billion Catholics in the world, but to the rest of the world?
He certainly has not just a lot of clout, but he also has a lot of respect given who he is and what he's done, and I think it allows people to maybe give him a hearing, to help him be able to explain that, yes, we believe in free speech, but we also believe in the freedom for people to practice their religion and to hold certain core beliefs sacred, and to rather propose dialogue rather than insulting and provocative kind of speech. When words become weapons, when cartoons become weapons, then we have to ask ourselves, is this productive to the human society?
And that question of what is sacred, always at the heart of this. Father Luke Sweeney, thank you so much for your insights this morning. Great to see you.
So, good to be with you.
Dal.
Stephanie.